It's your boys.
Garrett and Lincoln from RUNAMUCK MMA. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you with our coverage of UFC Fight Night Teixeira versus Santos. And we are going to just go ahead and jump right into the prelims. So let's begin.
So I just want to go ahead and say, like I've said every other time, the action is on the prelims, not one decision, my guy.
Yeah.
The action is on the prelims.
Always.
People are sleeping on them.
For the most part, always. So we start out the night with Gustavo Lopez getting the win over Anthony Burchak. Pretty smooth KO victory. Apparently, the two gentlemen were fight mates, like they had teammates, sparred a couple of times before. And Anthony Burchak is actually, I believe he was like a last minute replacement for an opponent for Gustavo Lopez. But he willingly took it, and Gustavo Lopez kind of just laid him out.
Willingly took that L too, dude.
Yeah, but it was pretty fair.
You just got it done pretty quick too.
Yeah. Let's get into the
Max
fight.
Griffin, dude.
Let's get into that. That has got to be the most vicious shit. The most vicious fucking shit.
So you want to be an Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you want to be in the UFC, you better double check that's what you want.
You better. Because you better know what you're signing on the dotted line, my guy.
Because this is the fucking shit right here. Okay, first of all,
doesn't even do it justice when you just look at numbers.
No, because I mean, Max Griffin was beating the shit out of him.
Of course he was.
He was winning the fight, no doubt. Here's the thing though. I don't think he would have gotten the TKO without. Let's just go ahead and say it. Ramiz Brahimaj's ear, his left ear, was almost completely hanging off of his head.
It looked like Mike Tyson got a little snacky poo in the middle of the fight.
It really did though. So
that's when the refs just gotta kind of step in and make sure that the fighter can live on to fight another day, you know?
Yeah. So let me just. I found this on Reddit, so I saved it. I could not for the life of me find.
Oh, you're gonna do that thing?
Yeah, I could not for the life of me find it anywhere on Google Images or anything like that. I couldn't even find.
So a warning for your ear.
Yeah, viewer discretion advised. So here it is.
Look at that.
Here it is. Yeah.
That cauliflower ear busting open.
Oh my god.
He got destroyed. He looks not like the same person anymore.
No, I mean like that.
All right, that's enough of that.
You think so?
Yeah, sure? that's enough.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fucking brutal. It's
amazing.
I mean, you can obviously tell by the rest of his face he was getting the shit beat out of him. But I mean, like that ear, man, that's got to be one of the most brutal injuries I've ever seen in an MMA match. Period. Like I've seen, like the two really big ones I can think of off the top of my head. Three really big ones I can think of off the top of my head was when we did that video on Ike Villanueva and his cut. That was really, really bad against Jordan Wright.
Yeah.
And then
the arm breaking.
No, the giant gash on his head.
Oh yeah.
I think you're thinking of Jamie Page. I want to say off the Contender Series.
Yeah,
where he got his arm kind of snapped a little bit.
That one was terrible.
That was crazy. Of course, you have the Anderson Silva leg snap, which is like one of the craziest injuries out there in sports. Period.
You got pretty much any Nate Diaz fight.
Yeah. You have the Michael Venom Page versus Cyborg.
Oh, where he smashed his skull.
Yeah, where he hit him with that flying knee, and
that one's like his forehead.
That one's only brutal because you have to see the X-rays.
The X-rays are nasty.
Yeah, if you don't see the X-rays, you don't get the full picture.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what that's like. So yeah, let's go back and we'll finish the rest of this up. But yeah, so Max Griffin pretty much soundly put him away. I mean, like it started with a cross, I believe, but the finishing blow for that year was definitely a
The-
elbow, like it was coming
yeah,
down or something like that. But yeah, so
and it busted it wide open.
yeah, definitely the most gruesome thing I've seen in a while. And
And
this
then
and it sucks for Brahimaj because he was been out for like 2 years.
I know,
Or for
and
like
now
a
he's going to
year.
be out for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, he's not going to get cleared for a while.
And meanwhile, you can't count out Darren Elkins ever.
Oh God, you want to talk about Darren Elkins now? Let's talk about
Yeah,
Darren Elkins. Darren
dude,
Elkins, who's been a fucking veteran.
26-9. What a record!
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Just bloodied, taking the just his face looked not okay for a minute.
no. I mean, it's crazy because you look at the total strikes. Only 48 strikes landed for Gorey, who, keep in mind, was on his back pretty much the entire fight.
He was.
So it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have
But those
120.
but those 48 strikes busted him up.
Exactly. That's the point I was going to make. Is
Yeah,
that the significant strikes actually favor Gorey,
yeah.
who's a Muay Thai kickboxer, and was beating the shit out of Darren Elkins anytime they were standing. And it was really those 7 takedowns of 21 attempts
Yeah,
that really pushed Darren Elkins into the victory slot. Like, I think it just kind of pushed Gorey,
exacerbated the situation.
yeah, and pushed him and exhausted him to the point where he had no choice but to eventually, not necessarily he had no choice, but he just, when it came time, he didn't really have much of a leg to stand on when Darren Elkins threw in that rear naked choke. And that's just kind of what pretty much solidified the match.
Hook, line, and sinker, dude.
Yeah, and Darren Elkins gets to walk away with the most takedowns in was it featherweight history.
Yeah, which is a record that you want.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you've got a lot of great grapplers walking around that division too, like Magomed Sharipov and all those guys. It's pretty impressive, especially for a guy who's been around as long as Elkins.
Yeah, to have a record this late in his career.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny how they were talking about him, and they were like, "You got to be really Darren Elkins got to be really, careful getting hit by Gorey because all that scar tissue built up over all his time is just going to open right up."
Who would have thought?
Yeah. So yeah, and then we get into Alexander King Kong Romanov.
The craziest thing I've seen in a minute with submissions.
Yeah. I mean, just pretty out there, really. What was that? Arm triangle? Or no, the Ezekiel choke. Yeah.
Well, kinda. He kind of,
yeah.
He kind of. It's kind of just a forearm choke, but that's kind of like just a thing that you use to kind of move your opponent. But they just kind of used like the weight of each other, made it to just where he could just put that pressure on him and just black him out right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was great because, I mean, that might very well be the first forearm choke in UFC history.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
At least the first successful one.
Yeah. And you can definitely tell that just based on the numbers that we had, De Lima was pretty much dominating on the feet, and Romanov had no choice but to kind of, he was kind of out of desperation, kind of had to rush into those grappling exchanges. But if there's anything we've seen, especially from his last fight that he had, he can toss heavyweights.
Yeah. He's a tosser for sure.
Yeah.
It almost makes me think that he's only good in the grappling department versus the striking from the last few exchanges we've seen. Like he's a good wrestling, good at tossing the heavyweights, good at strength and conditioning, but his striking's a little bit lacking.
Yeah, so he might need to work on that. However, I do hear people saying maybe he deserves a ranked opponent now.
You get the striking in check, and for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a test to really push that push him to that next level. He needs to break through that threshold because right now he's on a tear. But if there's anything we've seen with guys like Augusto Sakai, they need to go up against that ranked opponent to
really see what they're made of.
Yeah, to really understand where their limits are, what holes in their game can they fill in. With Augusto Sakai, it's I gotta fill in my grappling. With Romanov, it could very well be I gotta fill in my striking. So he probably does need to work on that, and maybe a ranked opponent can help with that. But then we finished out the prelims with Trevin Giles versus Bevon Lewis.
I'll make a little announcement / confession. I thought it was Trevor Giles this entire time.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna throw that out. Until last night when I was watching it, I really thought his name was Trevor Giles this entire time.
That's funny. That's funny because when they were doing the commentary during the fight and Trevor Whitman would come on to do like some co-commentating, John Anik was literally like, and here we have Trevor, not Trevin Whitman. Don't get confused.
That's when I figured it out.
Yeah. So that was great performance by Trevin Giles. I mean, he in pretty much every way outclassed Bevon Lewis.
Showing that skill.
Yeah, let's look at these. Let's look at this. Yeah. Again, total strikes for Bevon Lewis outdid Trevin Giles, but I think Trevin Giles overall, obviously getting the more significant strikes, kind of showed that he was just waiting. He was a lot more patient. He was really waiting for those bigger moments, those bigger hits throughout the fight, and was really able to just get them. Yeah, exactly. Gets the takedowns, gets 2 knockdowns. He pretty much had the fight from start to finish. If I'm not mistaken, he even let me double check before I put my fucking foot in my mouth.
Well, you're gonna put your foot in your mouth anyways.
Probably. So I believe this was the fight where Giles actually had knocked down Bevon Lewis at the end of round number 2 and could have potentially gotten the stoppage had it not been for the end of the round.
Yes.
And so then it was in the 3rd round that he pretty much just dominated from start to finish. Like he just unloaded and finished that fight. So I thought that was really good. And it was just really impressive overall. It's really all I have to say about it.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
And that concludes it for our coverage of the prelims of UFC Fight Night Santos versus Teixeira.
Yeah.
And like, comment, subscribe, and catch us in the main card video.
Peace.